Okay, people. So it is ridiculously cold here. Oh my days. It is so cold. And yeah, my frigging computer is by the window. So I'm just freezing my ass off. Oh dear, oh dear. The plug situation. What can you do? But I was looking for something short. So I checked out something from Tiffany's. Okay, so this is based on a book by the same name from Melissa Hill. Okay, so yeah, to be honest, I don't actually know when the book came out. Hmm, that is an interesting one. But hey ho, who cares? So yeah, it's based on the book by Hill, and the screenplay was written by Tamara Chestna. Okay, the film is produced by Lauren Livy Nutstradler and Reese Witherspoon. Executive produced by Jeanette Volturno, Zoey Deutch, Morgan Des Grossilles, and Marcy A. Brown. And Josie Craven co producers. Jay Lifton and Ryan Miller handled the music. Bryce Faulkner, cinematography. Casey Brooks edits the film. Casting was from Rona Krez. Dan Bishop handles production design. Art decoration is Christopher Brown and Deborah Wheatley. Set decoration, Diana Frez and Alison Korf. Costume design is Alana Morshed. Okay, hair and makeup and all of that jazz. We have Josie Zamora, Cynthia Vanis, Heba Fosdota, Akio Matasumoto, Justin Jackson, Troy Huggy, Sina Gorlick, Etzel Eccleston, and Sienna Chavez. And our cast. Well, Rachel Meyer is played by Zoey Deutch. Her boyfriend, Gary Wilson, is played by Ray Nicholson. Then we've got Ethan Green, played by Kendrick Sampson. Um, his daughter, Daisy, is played by Lee Jeffries. Um, his wife, not his wife, his girlfriend. I think it's Vanessa, right? Vanessa, I believe it's Vanessa. Is yes, it is Vanessa, and she is played by Shay Mitchell. Now, Rachel's best friend, who she owns her bakery with, is Terry Blake, who is played by Jojo T. Gibbs. And her wife is Sophia, played by Javika Leslie. I was wondering at first if that was her, because I think she really does look like her. So who else do we have? Tiffany Saleswoman is played by Stephanie Shepherd. Well, one of them is anyway. um, we have got. Mm, okay, so I think Gary's friend is David, who is played by Michael Rourke. Um, one of Ethan's friends is Brian Harrison, played by Chido Nwokocha. We have got Muriel, played by Rose Abdu. Um, yeah, that's our main lot, really. All right, let's do the doo-wop singers. Right, so we got Jeff Robinson, Tyrone Griffin, Jason Carpenter, Tim Anderson, and Harold Weary. Okay, so yeah, there's it. Oh, and the other employee who Rachel employs is played by Morgan Lennon. So, yes, there we go. Now, the gist of the film is this: nothing compares to the magic and excitement of the holidays in New York City, where the streets blaze with lights, windows dazzle, and a special box from Tiffany could change the course of a person's life or several lives. Rachel and Gary are happy enough, but not quite ready for that big commitment. Ethan and Vanessa, the perfect picture, are just about to make it official when a simple mix up of gifts causes all of their paths to cross. It sets off a series of twists and unexpected discoveries that lead them where they're truly meant to be. Because love, like life, is full of surprises. In the holiday romance, something from Tiffany's. So yeah, there you have it, people. This is a new Prime Video exclusive, right? And yeah. Now, I will say, right, for this type of film, the acting is pretty solid. Acting is pretty solid. I don't really have any flaws with it. It is handled quite well. I think where everything gets a little odd is the story itself. Right? There's crazy things in the story that make absolutely no sense. Right? Like the whole mix up, of packages is like, yeah, Ethan tries to help a situation. And as it happens, you know exactly where this is going. Right? That's the thing. There's no real surprises in this film. No real surprises because we get, a character's character is called into question, right? And as they're being defended, like that this is something we're coming back to later in the film, right? And just it seems a little bit of a struggle at first to come up with anything, and then they come up with this story, and you just be like, okay, well, that's clearly getting proven wrong. You know what I mean? Clearly getting proven wrong. So you're just like, ugh. And that's the thing. So the whole box mix up, it's just you wouldn't put a box down, right? In next to another box that looks exactly the same. You put it somewhere else. And also, right, there's a difference between earrings and a ring. So I feel the boxes would be just a different size, potentially a different size bag. There's just so many things in this story that are just odd, you know? There's a lot of odd things happening. Um, there is a bit at the beginning which kind of is there to show the character of another character, right? Uh, but I will say, if you stand directly outside of a door, anything that happens is kind of on you. You know what I mean? Because you are now going that anyone comes out of the store has to like acknowledge you, has to, excuse me or shuffle round the side, which is crazy rude. And we know people aren't always looking. So I think you have to expect anything that happens, kind of, right? Now, manners are manners, but also kind of on you. Kind of on you. Right. So we have this fun thing about the fact that Rachel is a messy cook. But here's the rub, right? no flour on the face. Supposedly stuff in her hair, nothing on the face. Face always perfect, right? It's just no sweating, right? If you're in a hot kitchen, you can build up a sweat, right? And if you've been in the kitchen of a restaurant bakery, those things get fucking hot, right? So motherfuckers be sweating. You know what I mean? No one's sweating, right? So there is that. They do a thing with the daughter Daisy. Now, as I said, acting is fine. It's just the lines that Shorty has to give, where it's just like we're saying this kid is really saying this shit, right? The other big thing, she looks like she's of an age where she knows what the fuck. It's not a little kid, right? It's not a little girl. So the fact that she has to be told, I don't disclose information. Like, what are you? You just think, she's not done. Right in later in the film, she says things which are you're meant to be insightful and all of this. So you're just like, come on now. And then Ethan's always losing his phone. Again, there is no effort made to try and do better. It just becomes a little bit, ugh, really, we're doing these forced plot points to drive the narrative of the story. It doesn't feel natural, right? That's the problem with those things. Don't feel natural, right? And then we have the whole situation with the mix up, right? Which here you go. We don't have anyone like communicating. It's a simple fucking thing, right? When you realize it's the wrong box, you would think you'd be like, you know what? This is a jab because you could still do the thing with the earrings. You could still do it, right? You could be like, you know what, babe? This was meant to be this, so I'm still gonna do it. And I love you, so let's make it work, right? You could do that. But there's no conversations, right? There's something else that's happening with Ethan and Daisy, which he doesn't communicate with Vanessa. And so this is the big thing, right? Because with whenever we have these sorts of stories and they're meant to be showing this relationship, which we're meant to believe is perfect, right? They always just show someone being shitty, right? The partner being shitty. Now, there's a reason they're together, right? So maybe she wasn't always like that, or you know what I mean? There's things that he must have loved about her to even just come to that conclusion, even though we get this convoluted bullshit towards the end, right? But we always just see this person acting in a certain way, which I'm just like, this, it feels so lazy with storytelling. You can say, they do these things, but these things we're butting heads on just these minor little things, right? Which happens in a relationship. You can be traveling like that and just differ on something, whether it's religion, politics, money, right? There's all these different things, morals, right? There's just these things that sometimes we don't always connect on, right? And it could be something like how you discipline a kid. One person might be like, a little spank ain't that bad. And the other's like, no, we do not do that. Right? One might be like, if we have kids, I want to send her to private school. Others like, no, that's insane. So it's not always this terrible thing that it is the thing that splits someone up. But the way they show it, it's always something crazy, which is just kind of foolish, right? Just kind of foolish and lazy. We can have this love story without any of this stuff. Another crazy thing is there's a scene when the bakery gets crazy busy, and the way she acts, Rachel, you're like, wait, are you telling me it's never been busy like this? Because it's like she has no clue. Like, oh my God, oh, I've never had this many customers before. This is crazy. Which is just like, you've got two fucking locations, right? Supposedly, you're saying that this is great. This is all perfect. So you've had it busy like this. So her reaction and the way she handles it, you just think, no, no, that's weird. The other thing is, not all coffee machines work the same. Not all tills work the same. So to be just like, oh yeah, I got this, you just be like, I mean, I kind of imagine there will be a bit where it's like, yo, I think that has to do and that has to do, boom, 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 right? So that's kind of funky. Now, the last bit that I think is really fucking crazy. Well, there's two bits. There's a bit where Daisy says, for a white girl, she can cook, which I just thought was a weird statement, right? It was just a weird statement to be made because it's like culture doesn't come into cooking, right? Like when you think of all the different restaurants and just everything that's around, it's a mix. There's all manner of people doing all manner of things. So it was just a weird statement to have in the film, you know? It was just like, what was the point of that? Right? And the end, the end was fucking because we do a 1 year later, right? Which then you would go, whoa, what? You know what I mean? When you see what happens a year later, you are a little shocked, right? Because it's just like, firstly, that's super quick. Seeing the fact that they've only really just met, it's super quick. And when it's something that was for someone, it's just like, what? And the other thing with the situation, right? You were like, are all these people your friends? Because if they're not your friends, why the fuck would you do it in that manner? It's so weird. So weird. But you know, you're like, again, it's one of those things, right? Doo-wop singers, we know we're gonna see them again. Right? Special place, we know we're going to see that again, right? It's just predictable. But as I said, acting a lot better than the majority. Like when you think of what was that recent Netflix one, right? Fall for Christmas. I think it's something like that, right? The Lindsay Lohan comeback film. The acting in that, not great. Right? This was a lot better than that. It was just the script and the story ropey, ropey. But, you know, I'm very, very, very selective about the type of rom-coms that I will digest. You know what I mean? The ones I really like I've said it so many times, the Before trilogy. It's a standout, right? About Time. Watched that with my girl recently. Love it. Eternal Sunshine. Jeez. Garden State. Juno. Love these films. Love those films, right? But that's the gold standard for me with these sorts of things. You know what I mean? So if you do like a cheesy story, something from Tiffany's probably for you. Probably for you, right? And it's only 87 minutes, so it's not crazy long, which is definitely a good one because I don't think you need this to be a long film. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's on Prime. So if you fancy it, go check it out, people.